got the newest Xbox Game Pass announcement with a big launch coming up here in just a couple of weeks. Of course, that is Avowed, so we'll take a look at that. Another Xbox game is going to the PlayStation 5, and if you're a fan of these styles of games, you're going to be very happy this one is dropping. It is great. I've been playing through this one for a while. It's a fun game. We have a big marketing here for Avowed. They are actually pushing a lot of that stuff out. Some big numbers for Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, some information with EA and the Nintendo Switch 2, and lots of people leaving Platinum Games. So there's a big change that is going on. So we'll look at all that stuff, plus many other things. But if you are new here, you do enjoy daily gaming news and content, staying updated on all of the things within the gaming world, hit the subscribe, share the video. I see about half of you who watch are not subscribed, so I would definitely appreciate that. So let's jump over here. Let's talk about starting off here with the Xbox Game Pass announcement. It is a decent announcement, I guess, depending on what you're looking for here. But obviously, the major one itself is day one of Avowed launching into the service. I can't wait to play this game. There's been everybody already playing it for review and stuff that you're seeing on social media. They announced that they are looking at, so we will be getting reviews here, I think, in about 10 days or so. So that is pretty cool. And we'll see if the game is good or not. And I feel like I always have a good feeling about Obsidian games. The fact that the embargo for reviews is a few days here before launch means that they're probably relatively confident in it. So we will have to end up and seeing what happens there. But that game obviously does drop day one on February 18th for Game Pass Ultimate and PC Game Pass, Cloud PC, and the Xbox Series X and S. We'll go down the list here. You have the Far Cry New Dawn, which is available today for Ultimate and Standard. You have Another Crab's Treasure, February 5th, with Game Pass Standard that got added into that. And the subscription, obviously, one of the things here with these Game Pass announcements now, because they broke it up to Standard and Ultimate, they do just put games into these announcements that are moving from Ultimate to Standard itself. You have Iden Chronicles 100 Heroes, that's going to Standard on February 5th. Starfield, of course, going to Standard on February 5th as well. So these big first-party games do eventually move over there. You have Madden 25, if you want to play this. That is part of the EA Play Edition when you do subscribe to Game Pass Ultimate, coming to Ultimate and PC Game Pass on February 6th. Kingdom 2 Crowns on Ultimate and Game Pass Standard on February 13th. And then, of course, Avowed available day one. So cool announcement. I mean, for me, obviously, the big one is just Avowed. I'm going to be spending a lot of time on that one. That does come out. And if I can finish up Eternal Strands before Avowed drops, hopefully I'll be able to jump into it right away on day one. But I am really enjoying Eternal Strands. For anybody out there who's looking for a good RPG, who wants to play that a bit here before they do jump into that, I would definitely recommend it. Now, when it comes to the Xbox strategy of putting games on PlayStation 5, I think the theme this year for Xbox will be they have an incredible first-party lineup. Everyone is getting those day one in Game Pass, but we're also going to see more and more announcements, I think, about first-party Xbox games landing on PlayStation 5, depending on where you stand on that. I mean, that's your choice. I don't care if other people get to play these games. This is a big one, though, I think, for a lot of people who never were introduced to these styles of games on consoles before. If they only played on PlayStation, they now get that experience here with Age of Empires and Age of Mythology, both here coming over to the PlayStation 5. So they put out this announcement here on ageofempires.com, specifically going over everything that is happening with these franchises. Age of Empires 2 Definitive Edition and Age of Mythology Retold are both coming to the PlayStation 5. Now, for the dates with this, they say first on March 4th, Age of Mythology Retold will expand into new myths, new cultures, and welcome new players alongside the Immortal Pillars expansion release, and we will welcome PlayStation 5 players to adventure with Arkantos, choose their pantheon, and fight the divine blessings with all the same content available in the Xbox and PC versions. And PlayStation 5 players will also be able to purchase Immortal Pillars and expand their Age of Mythology Retold experience with the all-new Chinese pantheon. So March 4th is when PlayStation 5 gamers will be able to play this, but if you want to get 5 days early access, they say you get the premium edition for 5-day early access starting on February 27th. And then you also get access to the new Immortals of Pillars expansion. Then you have Age of Empires 2 Definitive Edition that is also coming over to PlayStation 5. And they say that this spring it will be making its debut there. I don't believe they have the exact date, but it will be coming over in the spring. So 2 more games coming over to PS5. And you have to ask yourself, with the announcement that we did see at the Xbox Developer Direct, with a lot of those games going to PlayStation 5, of course, with the announcement of Forza Horizon 5 going over to the PlayStation 5 shortly after that, now we're getting this announcement. Will this be a theme throughout the year with more games coming over this year to PS5? I do believe so. Will it be every single game? That's the question. I don't think so, because again, if you do look at what happened at the Developer Direct, it was a kind of hit and miss here. You had South of Midnight, which is looking very good. That was not announced for the PS5. Will that come this year with an announcement? Not sure, but not every single game, I believe, will be making its way over at least this year. But we will see more announcements as we do go through. The big thing here is you're seeing the rumors about like the Gears collection being created and then launching on every single platform, which is okay. But I just hope the Gears collection is actually something in development, and all these rumors that are talking about it are not just all for naught, because I think it's a perfect opportunity here to get people interested in this series who have never played it before. And then obviously when Gears E-Day comes out, they will have at least jumped in to see what the classics were, Gears 1, 2, and 3, and then have this whole multiplayer hub and suite, which would be extremely fun to play. Now, when it comes to Avowed, we have Avowed here that is going to be out February 18th, and a lot of people always talk about the Xbox marketing. Are they doing enough to push these games forward? They've done enough for some games, I think, and other games you just kind of are wondering where their marketing department is. Why aren't they talking about it more? With Avowed here, we do have this. It does seem like they are pushing this game pretty big here, as they put out this tweet here that they are showing up with a whole ad in New York City. And they're filling up this big screen here. It says, "Before you depart to the living lands, we're making a stop in a mysterious place filled with adventure. New York City, see the living, breathing world of Aura in action at Times Square." So Times Square has just a huge ad that a lot of people are going to walk by and see. You always wonder how much what effect that has on game sales. But I think overall, it just gets people aware that this game is coming out. And one thing with Avowed, I think they really should be pushing the marketing in as many places as possible. The game looks good, but the artwork is phenomenal. The colors, it will absolutely catch people's attention walking by something like this. So pretty cool to see them doing that there. All right, we have Capcom. They had their Spotlight showcase, and there was some interesting stuff here. One thing in particular, which I think is going to be very cool for a lot of people, but they had their Spotlight showcase, and here's what they did show off. Onimusha 2 Samurai of Destiny Remastered, coming to PlayStation, Xbox, Steam, and Switch in 2025. So that is the coolest thing, I think, out of all of these announcements, that they're bringing this back. We did get the announcement at the Game Awards that they're bringing back Onimusha, I believe coming out in 2026, and that trailer got a lot of people hyped up. So they're going harder on this series, knowing that people do want it here, again, with the remastered version of Onimusha 2. Then they also showed us some more information on Onimusha Way of the Sword, which again is that game coming in 2026, saying that it is a dark fantasy, compelling characters including a new protagonist and enemies, the setting of Kyoto, a location brimming with historic spots, and the ultimate sword fighting action. So got another taste here of what we can expect from that future game. They showed off here some more Monster Hunter Wilds, which, I mean, that game is going to be huge when it does end up launching. It will be exciting for a lot of people. And then they've announced here also the Capcom Spotlight Monster Hunter Wilds showcase, which I believe also was yesterday. That game's coming out at the end of February, and that's going to be a huge hit. It's going to be a top seller, one of the best selling games of the year, I would predict. So it's going to be a major release. I mean, February is absolutely stacked when you think about the games coming out this month. Avowed, Monster Hunters, the Yakuza game, the Pirate game that is coming out, and some other games I'm sure that I am forgetting about. So it's a very fun time right now in the first half of 2025. I'm trying to remember in recent years if it's been this stacked over the first couple of months, because you think about March and April as well, there's a bunch of stuff coming out, and even with May with Doom the Dark Ages. So very exciting for the beginning of this year. All right, Nintendo Switch. As we know, the Nintendo Switch 2 is on the way, but Nintendo is still trying to sell the Nintendo Switch as much as they can, because they want to be becoming the best-selling console of all time. And they reached a new milestone here, announcing that they have sold over 150 million units, which puts it only 10 million behind the PlayStation 2. They're at 160 million units. So they could theoretically get there. It may not be, well, it won't be before the Nintendo Switch 2 comes out, but the Switch is still going to be around for many years after the Nintendo Switch 2. And that means that they're going to have an opportunity here to beat that 160 million unit number, especially if they cut the prices, make it super cheap, and people just buy it as like a second console or something, or they just want another Nintendo Switch in their homes. I think that they could eventually surpass the PS2 if, of course, the PS2 stops randomly finding new sales. That has been happening. I mean, I think they made a new announcement for the PS2 sales numbers just last year, so they're still finding sales somewhere in the back end for PlayStation. Will they continuously and slowly do that so that the Nintendo Switch never catches it? I'm not sure, but the Switch 2 will obviously decrease the overall sales of the current Nintendo Switch, and the Switch right now has been falling in sales every basically fiscal. It has been going down year over year, which makes sense. It's at the end of the life cycle. They announced the Switch 2, and people are looking forward to that. In fact, they've lowered their forecasts again for the Switch sales. They say it's going to be declining 30%. So the Nintendo Switch 2 for Nintendo honestly couldn't come soon enough if they want to continue to boost their overall platform sales. They put this out here that in the latest earning report covering 3 months ended December 31st, Nintendo said it lowered its hardware sales forecast to 11 million for the current fiscal year, which is the second reduction in a row after previously lowered its 13.5 million forecast to 12.5 million. And the company also lowered its operating profit outlook by a further 22%. They sold 4.82 million Switch consoles during the quarter for a total of 9.54 million this fiscal year. And if that gives you kind of any indication, 9.54 million in that fiscal year, they're at 150 million. So they could honestly pass the PS2 in another fiscal year if something crazy happens, or maybe I would say I'd probably give another fiscal year and a half or 2 fiscal years. They could probably pass that 160 million set by the PlayStation 2, unless it just completely dies when the Switch 2 comes out and literally nobody ends up buying any more Switches. I just don't see that happening because this console is going to be selling for a long time. Again, like I said, after the Switch 2 comes out, and if they can do some things with bundles and stuff, it will be very enticing for people. Not everybody wants the latest and greatest console, and everybody wants the latest and greatest piece of hardware on the market. They just want to play video games. And the Switch already has a huge catalog, so that will still be enticing for people who don't have one, or potentially for people who want to pick up like a second one or something to have in their house. So we will see how that happens. The Switch has been a great console, so I'm kind of rooting for it here to pass the PlayStation 2 to become the best-selling console of all time. All right, we have more info here about the new Battlefield game, which was quickly shown off with some pre-alpha footage yesterday or 2 days ago. It looks very good. The destruction looks phenomenal. Vince Zampella being at the head of this thing, I think, is going to push this game to new heights. I have a lot of faith in him and the work that he has done from his previous games that he has worked on. And now it looks like we have the planned release window for this game. It isn't too far out. They're saying here that it is scheduled to be released before April 2026. So just within the next year, the next Battlefield will be in our hands, unless, of course, it gets delayed or something along those lines. But it says, as a part of its third quarter earnings result on Tuesday, the publisher said it's planning to release the next franchise entry before April 2026, and the game was expected fiscal year 2026, and that the 12-month period starting on April 1st, 2025, and running until March 31st, 2026. And that means anything. We could even probably see this game at the end of this year in the holiday season. I wouldn't be that surprised. Although you do have to ask yourself, does Battlefield, with its rocky launches recently, it's obviously fallen off in overall popularity comparatively to Call of Duty, which is the more popular game. They used to go head to head with them. Do they want to compete head to head this year right away with this new Battlefield? Do they want to compete head to head with Call of Duty, or do they want to have its like own time slot? So Call of Duty releases at a certain part of the year, and then people would expect the newer Battlefields whenever they continue to release at a different part of the year. It gives people that opportunity to have one game not overshadow the other. I wonder what they would be thinking in terms of how they're going to be releasing this game, but they have the whole labs thing set up. There's going to be a lot of feedback on it. And again, it does look phenomenal. So I am excited to see what they're going to be able to do with this game. All right, let's jump over here. And Platinum Games. Right now they're working on Ninja Gaiden 4 with Xbox Global Publishing. We know there's been issues previously with deals they made with a game like Scalebound. It still breaks my heart that that game hasn't come out. They've lost Hideki Kamiya, which is works on some of my favorite games from Platinum, and obviously Bayonetta being one of those. But now we see here that 5 more leads have quit Platinum Games. They're leaving. And it says that speculation was swirled in recent weeks about the future of Platinum Game staff after Kamiya announced a new studio backed by Capcom, which is partly made up of former Platinum developers. And then on Tuesday, Kamiya seemingly confirmed several high-profile Platinum exits with a bonus segment on his latest YouTube video, which features, in his words, footage of a former Platinum game director's drinking party. So in addition to Kamiya, the party was attended by Bayonetta Origins director Abibi Tanari, Bayonetta 3 director Yasuki Miyata, Astral Chain director Takahisa Tara, Metal Gear Rising director Kenji Sato, and Anarchy Reigns and Resident Evil character designer Masaki Yamanaka. So that's some big talent here going over to Kamiya's studio. I mean, here's the thing. This is exciting, I think, because you're going to have Platinum Games. They're still going to be able to make some great stuff. I mean, they do have other talent there. They do have the resources and the know-how and expertise from previous stuff that they have done, and obviously have backings with things like Xbox Global Publishing and Xbox itself. They're still going to be able to make some great games. But now you're having another studio with all of these minds that have worked on previously good games at Platinum Games, and we're just going to get more good stuff. So this is exciting to see what they do come up with. I do love their games. I do love a lot of stuff that Platinum has created. And I think the games that this studio here, this studio that is backed by Capcom specifically, will be making some stuff that is fun to play. And they are, as of right now, working on Okami 2. So that already is exciting to see. And then finally, we have this Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. Doing phenomenally well right now. And this is a game that got very, very good reviews. I think it's like sitting at 93 last time I checked on the Metacritic scale. I don't know if it's still there or not, but very, very high reviews. A lot of people are praising it to the hills, and it's doing very good right now on the charts. Already hit over 120 concurrent players on Steam within 1 hour of release. So very cool to see, and we'll see if this number does continue to go up and just how successful this game is going to be. But I'll end the video there, guys. If you did enjoy this video, hit that thumbs up. If you are new here, hit that subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. We'll be right back.